This is Sales Management Mastery, episode 14.
Welcome to Sales Management Mastery, where you get an insider's look on how to build, motivate, coach, and lead a high-performance, low-maintenance sales team. Here's your host, Ralph Burns.
Hello and welcome to Sales Management Mastery online at salesmanagementmastery.com. And we're here to help you and your sales managers build a team of highly motivated, elite salespeople using easy-to-use, real-world sales management techniques that'll unleash a flood of new sales for your sales organization. On this episode of Sales Management Mastery, we teach you why money does not motivate your salespeople and what you can do to unleash the true motivations of your sales team in one easy step in order to achieve true sales excellence. Now, I'd like to remind you that if you'd like to get a jump start on creating your own team of supercharged salespeople using our proven system, you can claim your free training course of your choice, including our most popular training of all time, How to Motivate Your Sales Team to Peak Performance, at the Sales Management Mastery Academy by going to salestraininggift.com. Now, as we discussed in our two previous shows on the 7 forces of sales motivation, we talked to you about how each of your sales reps have a different force that motivates them. And we talked about specifically, or identified specifically, 7 major forces of motivation for each of your sales reps. Now, where your sales rep actually falls on this continuum will make up what we call their motivational profile. So there's the 7 forces of basic motivation, and they get these from their genetic makeup primarily. And the point of our first 2 shows on this was to show you and to exemplify the fact that the motivations of your salespeople today really don't differ a whole lot from how they were motivated when they were kids. So the 7 forces of sales motivation is what we discussed last time. But within the 7 forces of sales motivation, the number one motivator, at least the number one motivator that most people think is a motivator of salespeople specifically, was not in those 7 forces of sales motivation. Now, that one thing that was not in the 7 forces of motivation was money. Now, most people think that just because salespeople are after a sale or after sales revenue and get commissioned typically, or at least most salespeople do get commissioned in one way or another based upon their effectiveness at selling and driving sales revenues or attaining a quota or moving specific amounts of units of a particular product or service, then every salesperson is motivated by money. And what we're going to talk to you about here is that that is actually not the case. And we're going to get into that a little bit further here within this show and show you exactly how you can use this information as a sales manager or a manager of sales managers or as a sales training professional who has a profession of training sales managers for their full-time job, is to actually use this type of motivation to really effectively teach sales managers how to motivate their sales reps most effectively. Now, why is money not put on this 7 forces of motivation? Now, just to backtrack just a little bit, study after study on motivation of the top 10 motivators of people within the workforce just in general, money is never mentioned in the top 5 of those top 10. It's typically mentioned at the bottom half, typically near the 7, 8, 9 area, but in most cases it's in the bottom half of the top 10 of motivators. And, money, the reason why is that it is not a primary force. Money in it unto itself is not a primary force of motivation. And the reason for that is because if you really think about money itself, it's not money that motivates. It's really what that money means to that individual. So money is a means to an end. And if you motivate by money solely, you're really missing the true motivation that's sort of lurking behind the accumulation of money. And in the cases of our salespeople, it's typically a bonus or a commission or something similar to that, whether it's paid out weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, maybe biannually. It depends on your organization and how your individual commission plan works. So here's the point, is that money is a means motivator, but not an end motivator. And what you need to do is get into and uncover what money really means to each of your salespeople. So let me just explain this just for a little bit. So the attainment of money for its own sake really doesn't mean much of anything. And if you really think about this a little bit further, money is just paper with pictures of dead presidents on it. So the money itself really doesn't mean anything to anyone, but the attainment of money or that bonus plan or that commission plan or the dollars that are associated with those bonus and commission plans is a lot different. So, for example, money can mean a lot of different things to different people and to different salespeople. So it could mean any number of these things here. So first off, if you ask any of your sales reps what money really does mean to them, you're probably going to get a wide variety of different answers. Now, when I asked this of my salespeople, I found that money is a motivator, sure, but the specifics behind each one of the motivations was a varying list. And let me give you the examples of some of the things that I found out. So first one was paying off big credit card bills, which really is sort of a means to an end. Really, if you pay off the credit card bills, then the end is really a lessening of anxiety. So we're kind of drilling down even further into sort of the behind what money means. Another one could be college education for my kids. I'm working hard to make bonus and commission because I have 3 kids to put through school in about 3 years. Another might be I want to buy a new car. Another one might be one step towards an early retirement. Another one might be more bonus than their coworkers, meaning that the reason that they're motivated by money is a competitive reason. They want to feel good about competing and beating their coworkers. Maybe money also means moving out of their parents' house and getting into an apartment on their own, which was a motivation that I found out from one of my salespeople as well. My point is this, is that what money means to each individual person really varies. And if you're just motivating primarily by the pursuit of money to become a true motivator of salespeople and of people in general, you need to get to the why behind what their answer really is. And like a good salesperson who investigates and drills down deeper on the objections of the prospect, you need to do the same thing with your sales force as well. See, how we think about what money and what it means to us is what motivates us for the pursuit of money, and it's not the money itself. So, for example, for me, as a sales rep and as a sales manager, not only did money motivate me and was a tremendous motivator for me to get out of bed in the morning and do all the extra things I needed to do in order to be a success at sales as well as in sales management, but for me, money really was a way for me to keep track or to keep score of my internal sort of